Hello everyone, welcome to Sentence Diagramming 101. This is exercise 3R. We are reviewing sentence patterns, so we made it. We're going to have all of the patterns and we're going to have to diagram them all. So we got to figure out what the words are doing and then do the diagram. Okay, so Nightmare on Elm Street is going to be my subject. It was, and then what was it? Linking verb, it was a movie. And then it was a horror movie, adjective. It was a popular movie, adjective. It was a movie, adjective. And then it was very popular. Very goes with the popular, making it an adverb. And then during the 1980s is a prepositional phrase telling me when, so it's acting as an adverb. And adverbs go with verbs, so it's going to go underneath the linking verb. Now, I've got Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not going to write it out because I'm totally going to run out of room. You can also, because it's a proper noun, if you wanted to, you could be like nightmare and then be like on and then street and then which street, Elm Street. You can do it either way. Usually when I have a proper noun, I just take advantage of it and I leave it all together. But you can pull it apart if it makes you feel better. All right, so it was a movie. And let's see, it was a movie, it was a popular movie, it was a very popular movie. So when you modify other adjectives, you just hang it off like that. And then it was a horror movie. And then when it was during what? The 80s, and then you do a the. Cool. Moving on to number 2, we've got the film, and what does the film do? It does a thing, it follows a spree, so that's a Steve Doe. And then we've got of Freddy Krueger, which is which spree, making that an adjective. The and wild are also going to be adjectives here, as well as the. So let's see, we've got the film, and what does it do? It follows direct object line. It follows that spree. And it is the spree. It is a wild spree. It is also a killing spree. Now, we haven't done killing yet. Killing is actually a participle. So technically, if you wanted to diagram it, you would split it and put this ing on the bottom. We haven't done this yet. So for now, you can just treat it like a regular adjective, but moving forward in the future when we get to a later chapter, you'll have to distinguish different kinds of adjectives, and I'm just pointing out that yes, this is one. Oh, you know what? It's just the and wild. The original, if you look in the chapter, this sentence has a killing in it, but I removed it probably because it was a participle, so you didn't have to deal with it. Just ignore me. It's me thinking about the chapter instead of the exercise. So it's just the wild spree. And then, oh, it's a spree of Freddy Krueger, so we're just going to do a little of that. Okay, cool. This murderous villain, so that's my villain, and what does he do? He does a thing, he kills, and what does he kill? He kills people. And then, my pen is acting up again. In their dreams, that's where he kills them, so that is an adverb. And then it's this villain, so that's an adjective. He's a murderous villain. That is also an adjective. All right, so I have villain. And then I know it is this villain. I know that he is a murderous villain. And then he's going to kill, and then what? Kill people, so direct object line. And then where does he kill them? In their dreams, so it's an adverb. And that's why it goes under the verb, because adverbs go under verbs. Moving on to number 4, we have different groups of teens fight Freddy in their worst nightmares. So prepositional phrase telling me where they fight, so that's an adverb. Of teens tells me about those groups, so that's an adjective. So it's going to be groups fight. What do they fight? They fight Freddy. And then they're different groups, so that's going to be an adjective. So let's see. We're going to have groups. And they are different groups. And they're going to be fighting. Oh, I didn't leave myself room. They're groups of teens. It's fine. I squeaked it in. They fight direct object Freddy. And then where are they fighting? They're fighting in their dreams. Oh, see, look, I wrote dreams. It's nightmares, but yeah, and they're nightmares. Oh, and then they're their worst nightmares. There it is. Okay. So that's number 4. And then we have uneasy parents. We've got parents. What do? They give. What do? They give their kids pills, right, to put them to sleep. So that's the direct object, and then the kids are the indirect. Sleeping is going to be an adjective here. Remember I was talking about adjectives that are actually participles? Here's another one, sleeping, but we'll just treat it like an adjective for now. And then their kids, their adjective. And then uneasy parents is also an adjective. So let's see, we've got some parents here, and they're uneasy, so they give their kids pills, and then their kids go to sleep, and then they die because Freddy kills them. Okay. They give them pills, and they are sleeping pills. Technically, it's, sleeping, but you could just do sleeping as an adjective right now if you want. And then they give their kids. So indirect object gets a bucket, and then it's their kids. And indirect objects always go under the verb, so that's why it goes there. All right. Nancy nearly dies in her fight with Freddy, prepositional phrases. So with Freddy is about that fight, right? Which fight? The one with Freddy, so that's an adjective. And then in her fight is where she almost dies, or you could argue how she almost dies, doesn't matter, still an adverb. And then Nancy is my subject, and then the dying is intransitive, and nearly tells me when, right? She nearly dies. So that is an adverb. So we're going to have Nancy dies, and then we have she nearly dies, almost. And then she nearly dies in her fight. It's her fight, and then it is her fight with Freddy. So remember, your prepositional phrases, you want to make sure they have these little tails, right? These little things, which makes them different from the bucket up here. Notice your bucket for an indirect object does not have a tail. Your prepositional phrases, they do have tails. And that's how you distinguish. All right, the first movie is quite creepy. So movie, linking verb, creepy, subject complement. Quite is describing the adjective, which makes it an adverb. And then it's the first movie, so that's an adjective, and then it's the movie, also an adjective. So we have movie, and we know that it's the movie, and we know that it's the first movie, and it is what? It is creepy. Whoa. And then it is quite creepy. There we go. Moving on to number 8, other films focus on the gory details. So that's what they focus on, or where they focus, if you will. So it makes it an adverb. And then what do we have? We've got an adjective. What kind of films? Other films, and other films focus. So straight up Sidva. So I got films. And what kind of films? Other films. And what do? They focus. And then what do they focus? They focus on details. Details. And they focus on the details, and they focus on gory details. Of course, it's a horror movie. All right, Freddy's sweater. Sweater, Freddy's being the adjective here. Makes what? Makes him what? A character. And then he is unforgettable, adjective, and an adjective. So we finally have a Steve Doc here. So we've got the sweater. I'm just going to say F sweater. And it makes what? It makes him, and it makes him character. And then he is, I know he's not an character, but he is here because unforgettable starts with a U. So it's kind of weird when you pull it apart, but he's unforgettable. And did I get all of it? And character, yeah. All right, which brings us to number 10. So we have the sweater. We know that it's Freddy's sweater, adjective. It's an iconic sweater, adjective. It's sold, and then it's sold for a lot of money at an auction. That's my cat, everyone. He had to make an appearance. So he sold for top dollar, so that's how it's sold. So adverb, and then it's sold at an auction. Tells us where also. Adverb. So really, oh, he's coming right over. It's got to be right up in this last minute. So the sweater sold. And we know that it is Freddy's sweater. We know that it is an iconic sweater. And we know that it's sold for $1. And then what kind of dollar? A top dollar. And then it's sold at an auction. And these aren't stacking because it's not dollar at an auction. It's that it's sold for top dollar and it's sold at an auction. So those are separate concepts that are the prepositional phrases are modifying. They're both acting as adverbs. And that has been 3R.